we thought we'd try something different. We thought that it was might be hard to make a universe out of nothing, particularly relying on something that by definition didn't exist. So we thought, well, maybe the universe isn't made out of nothing. It's made out of something, and that something could be itself. And so inflation allows you to do this. And
I knew there was something in there.
You knew there was something in there. Now this is the
Rich,
model.
do you have the universe in that
He
Tupperware?
never comes without a visual aid.
This is the model.
Universe in a Tupperware container, yes.
So here's a picture of our model. It looks like something Dr. Seuss invented. This glass represents space-time. We're showing one dimension of time going up this funnel here. This is an inflating universe here. The circumference is getting bigger as time goes up here. We're showing this is an inflating universe. And Linde, who's at Stanford, showed that quantum fluctuations that we've heard about can cause a universe to give birth to another universe here. And so this is a universe, baby universe, born. This is called chaotic inflation. This is a universe born by quantum fluctuations off of this one. It's a branch that grows up to be as big as this trunk, and then it can sprout branches of its own.
But so, Rich, you're holding in your hand 4 universes. Is that correct?
You're just 4.
Yeah.
Fine, okay.
It's not heavy. They're my universe.
Okay.
So these are 4 universes. Now, what intrigued Neil about this is that he say, well, what's outside here? What's this expanding into? Nothing. The only thing that's real here is the glass model itself. It's curved, it has a shape, but to visualize it, we put it in this background space, but the background space doesn't exist, just the glass itself. So here's a universe coming off here. So Li-Jing Li and I said, well, what about if one of the branches simply branched off here, circled back in time, and grew up to become the trunk? This is possible if you have a time travel solution in general relativity, of which they exist. It makes a little closed time loop here, and if you go, and the universe is inflating, so this branch gets bigger and bigger as it comes back here, and the trunk is bigger than the branch. And so if you're here and you went around this, you would be able to come back in time and visit the event where you were. This is a time travel to the past in general relativity. This is what this looks like. Every event here has events that preceded and caused it in the usual way. So if you're here, there's an earlier event here. There's an earlier event here. There's an earlier event here. And so if you go back in time, you go back further and further, and then you start going around. It's like the Earth has no easternmost point, although it's finite toward the east. And so we thought this might be useful for addressing the famous first cause problem. This universe is finite to the past, but it has no earliest event. And the interesting thing about this was that this geometry here explained the usual causal set of events we have where photons go only toward the future. If you shake a photon here, it goes out and intersects Alpha Centauri 4 years from now, because it's 4 light years away. Maxwell's equations allow what's called advanced waves that go to the past and would be shown intersecting Alpha Centauri 4 years ago. But we don't see them in nature. So it doesn't have anything to do with electrodynamics. It must have something to do with the beginning of the universe. So in this case, the only self-consistent solution for this is one where photons go toward the future. Because if you had one that came back here, it would come back here, go around an infinite amount of time, gaining energy all the time, and blow up and cause a singularity and not be the geometry you started with. That'd be like killing your grandmother. So you're not allowed to do that because you have to have a self-consistent solution. So it also explained the entropy area of time because this was cold.
Wait, so you're creating the universe out of itself rather than out of nothing?
Yes, we were asking the question, can the laws of physics allow the universe to create itself?
Are there laws of physics out here?
No.
There's nothing out there.
That's
what,
real.
What,
though.
Okay, you happy with
yeah,
that?
no,
It's
I'm
not
not
even-
happy. What tells the abyss that it's pregnant with this thing?
That's,
It's finite in time. Every event has a cause. There's no first moment. Why does it exist? It
That's
exists
what
eternally.
Mr.
Yeah.
Leibniz would say. And listen, Leibniz's answer was God. Leibniz, as you say, smart guy, invented calculus. Leibniz's question was, why is there something rather than nothing? We were just trying to answer the question, how did the universe get here? So if we say, given that the universe is here, how did it get here? This was a possible way to do it.
So, Rich, your universe always was. That's your answer.
Well, if I think four-dimensionally, like Einstein, I'd say I got this four-dimensional sculpture here that doesn't change. It's a four-dimensional thing. It exists. And so Mr. Leibniz would rightly ask, so why is it there? Instead of not there.
Or instead of something else. Well,
Wait.
that evolved according to completely different
That's
set of
what he
laws.
would
Yeah.
say.
Charles,
if
Charles,
we were here.
we've
We
got-
didn't claim to answer that.
Charles, in your study of zero, you studied Eastern philosophy, right? And we have some people arguing over here about basically first causes, right? And I'm just curious, I don't study Eastern philosophy. Around the world, are people as disturbed at the need to have a first cause? Because that's what's driving all this. It's like, well, how did it get here? I have to know. It is a problem to be solved. Is there anyone in the world who's just cool with that?
I can't say I've studied philosophy as extensively as to answer that universally, but almost all mythologies.
University mean earthwide.
Earthwide,
In this house, universe means the universe, okay? So, like Miss Universe? No, she's Miss Earth, all right? Let's just establish that fact now.
Well,
Continue.
this Earth has the home planet advantage, so that's not fair.
That's right.
But basically, every mythology, more or less, needs a creation mythos of some sort. Basically, two functions of a mythology are explaining where we came from and where we're going.
So the urge was there.
The urge was there. The urge was there.
Pre-scientific era.
But let me, look, we don't need the point is science doesn't worry about a first cause. I mean, you're pretending it does, but it doesn't. Religion does. First of all, there are lots of good physical definitions of nothing, and I still think the best physical definition of nothing is the absence of something. So to understand nothing, you have
So
to
we're
understand.
done.
You have to understand what something is. That's why it's a physical question and not a philosophical one. First, you have to understand what something is, and you have to understand what the absence of that is. All those are physical questions, and physicists try to answer them. Now, there are a number of different answers which we can get to, and Rich has talked about some of them. There's still the simplest thing is not to take it to zero radius, which is, as Eva pointed out, is not physical. At least most of us think it's not physical. When you apply quantum mechanics to gravity, and we don't have a quantum gravity theory yet. Some people think we might be getting close, but we don't know if it is. But one of the things is quantum mechanics says things fluctuate. And if gravity is a theory of space and time, if you make space and time quantum mechanical variables, then it is perfectly possible for universes to pop into existence. Space and time
Larry?
to pop into existence where there was no space and time before.
Hold on.
Now,
hold on.
hold on.
Hold
I
on.
haven't had a chance to talk
Hold
yet.
on.
so let me-
I must ask you a question.
What?
Space and time pop into existence. You make that sound like a temporal process, a process in time.
Well, because I
It's
said
not
so
a
you can
process in time.
understand it.
Huh?
No, I mean, I used words, and the problem with words
Right.
are, as T.S. Eliot says, they're sort of slippery.
Right.
Okay, how about this?
But becoming
Well, I know where he's
implies
going.
time.
No.
You can't have time coming into existence
Yeah.
as itself a temporal process. That makes no sense.
well,
That's
you
why
pop-
it's good to
you
have
create a
philosophers
closed-
around, which I'm
you
not one
create
to
a
help
closed-
you use language precisely.
And so let me just pretend let me just say that there's a global time, and at some time, a space pops into existence.
Okay,
Okay,
two
will that
times.
make you happier?
Okay, there's
Okay,
a global
but-
time, and then
Just
there's
to just to clarify.
But the
Yeah, yeah,
point-
yeah.
Wait, I have to,
Okay.
just so I understand what's
We
going
have
on.
how many
So wait,
nothings? We have global time. And
Hold
okay,
on, just so I
yeah.
understand what's going on. Lawrence, you are saying that because we are illuminated by the actions of quantum physics, mentally, we can think about whatever is our best understanding of nothing, and quantum physics then pops into existence in that nothing an entire universe. And if that's the case, I would then pick up Jim's point and ask
I
you.
was going to try and ask, where did the quantum physics come from?
No.
Is that what you're asking?
That's
Okay.
not what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to
Okay.
ask you, that had to happen at some point.
Why?
Why isn't it happening all the time,
It can
everywhere,
be.
at all times?
First of all, it can be, and it wouldn't be noticeable at all. Okay, it could be happening in our universe. You'd be popping off baby universes, but they would disappear from our universe.
Okay, why don't
wouldn't
you
see
like
them.
his nothing that he broke
But,
his universe
but
in?
that's, okay.
Why don't you like his nothing? That sounded like a good
Well, first of
nothing.
all, as he himself admits, his nothing is a something. And
Well,
when you start with a
what is the
contradiction, you
something?
can drive anything.
Let me get to the point.
Go.
The key point is this question. First of all,
It's
the
a
question,
physical
why is there
object.
something?
It has structure. It obeys laws,
Hold
complex
up,
laws. There's a lot of
hold-
stuff going on.
hold-
I mean, my bank account, where there's no money in it, is still something. And,
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
vacuum is a hell of a lot more of something
okay,
than my
but-
bank account.
Okay, well, no, the point is that the key question is really, the why question is stupid. Okay, everyone who has kids knows that.
Wait, what-
No,
which
no,
why
because
question are you
eventually,
talking about?
eventually you keep saying, why, and the only answer is go to bed, okay? and so the point is that what we really mean is how. That's what when we say why, what we really mean is how. We care how did it happen. Now the question isn't, was there something else that existed? The really amazing thing, the question that really matters, and it may not be the question that matters to some classical philosophers, but it's the question that really matters is, how did a universe of 400 billion galaxies containing 100 billion stars, how did that come into existence if there weren't galaxies, if there weren't stars, if there wasn't energy? And that is the question that physics is coming close to answering, and that may not be the ultimate question